As is well known, the first verse in the Bible, in the book of Genesis, begins with the words, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." Now, something that's always puzzled me is that if you don't believe in God, how do you think the heavens and the earth came into existence? Did somebody else build the universe? It was a big job if they did. Or was it some kind of cosmic accident that happened by chance? For a long time, I wondered what other people thought about this, and then I came across Alan Sandage. Now, as an astronomy fan as a kid, I knew of Alan Sandage, the scientist, but not the man. Sandage was an American scientist and perhaps the most famous astronomer and cosmologist of the 20th century. There is no Nobel Prize for astronomy, but it's said that if there was, Sandage would have won a couple of Nobel Prizes. Among his most famous scientific work was the measurement of the age and size of the known universe. He also discovered quasars, or quasi-stellar objects, which are heavenly bodies fantastically remote from us, yet emitting enormous amounts of light and energy in a manner we do not fully understand and probably never will. Now, in our society, it's often assumed that religious belief diminishes in ratio to scientific knowledge. You might expect that the more deeply scientists see into the secrets of the universe, the more God would fade away from their hearts and minds. However, there are many striking examples to the contrary, but few more striking than that of Alan Sandage. Indeed, it's often said that those scientists working at the most fundamental levels of science are more likely to have religious beliefs. Alan Sandage was born in 1926 in Iowa in the United States, the only child of a powerful father and a loving mother. Although his family was Mormon, he was not practicing, though he later sporadically attended a Methodist church during his student years. By some accounts, Sandage was a difficult man, but an uncooperative attitude did not prevent him from making numerous groundbreaking contributions in science. In his youth, it was known that he was a practicing atheist, and in the scientific culture, the assumption was that an astronomer of his expertise would have no truck with the supernatural. However, in 1985, at a Dallas conference on the theme of science and religion, Sandage surprised his academic peers by taking a seat amongst the panel of theists and not the atheists. By all accounts, a young scientist named Stephen Myers, who was in the audience of this conference, and related that it is this shocking volte-face by Sandage that inspired his own research into the evidence of God-inspired intelligent design in the structure of life. Astrophysicist Hugh Ross, a former atheist turned Christian, first met Sandage when he was a research fellow at the California Institute of Technology, or Caltech. Years later, while now serving as a Congregational Church Ministry of Evangelism, Ross met him again, and Sandage told him he had just given his life to Christ after studying the Bible for 35 years. In the context of discussion about the theological implications of the Big Bang theory of the universe, Sandage revealed that he had converted and become a born-again Christian at the age of 50. Sandage then explained to Ross his view that the world is too complicated in all parts and interconnections for it to be due to chance alone. He then said, "We just can't understand the universe in any clear way without the supernatural." And this is from a man who had measured the age and size of the known universe. In his scientific work, Sandage found that he encountered the limits of science in addressing the full mystery of existence. In seeking an answer to the question of the purpose of life, he came to what he called the abyss of reason, and from that he then made the leap of faith. His conversion, however, involved and continued to involve an ongoing balancing of the two avenues to the truth, drawing upon resources from both scientific and Christian traditions. This seems to resonate with the views of St. Augustine in the 4th century, who talked about the Book of Reason and the Book of Faith. Now, to Sandage, reason and faith seem reconcilable in a life lived as bowing before the mystery. Ultimately, Sandage suggested that religious conversion comes not so much from the reasoned pursuit of knowledge as the realization of being pursued by God. He said that in his professional scientific life, he sought an understanding of the creation, but from the Bible, he sought to try and understand and know the Creator. The conversion of Alan Sandage is a testament of the strength of the evidence for the coexistence of faith and modern cosmology and science, and a dramatic counterexample to the belief that increases in scientific knowledge invariably reduce belief in God. Alan Sandage died in 2010, but prior to his death, he wrote various articles describing his faith. Now, if anyone ever tells you that we don't need God because science has all the answers, then I suggest you refer them to Alan Sandage. A man who studied creation at the limits of human scientific knowledge would probably laugh at this absurdity and beg to disagree. In Revelation chapter 22, Jesus says, "I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end." Clearly, Professor Alan Sandage, scientist and astronomer par excellence, would have recognized this in relation to our universe.